Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode number 48 of the unofficial Rogue Company podcast, BROGUECAST. I'm here with Dirt Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And this is the Rogue Company podcast, bringing you all the news that you need to know about Rogue Company. And we're going to first start off here with the 3 wishes PTS notes. 3 wishes, guys. What's the three wishes that you got for it?
Servers.
Jared don't want to hear that no more.
Oh, well, that's my wish.
So they did open up a PTS for the weekend that we are recording this. This is going to come out in the future, of course. And they also did a creator stream of the PTS with Jared and some of the creators asking questions, answering questions, showing off the changes and things like that. So it's pretty interesting. Like, I participated in it earlier, so I do have some direct feedback to give some of these things, but we'll work through this the best that we possibly can.
I got some feedback. It took y'all 5 attempts to get into a match.
Dude.
5.
It's crazy, right?
I think we stayed in here too long.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's a thing?
Mm-hmm. Apparently. And that makes sense why sometimes whenever we would be getting people in our custom matches and then we would go to launch it and it would just freeze everything up. That's what was happening. Yeah. It was nuts,
here,
right?
Like, make sure you're not in parties together. Like,
yeah, right.
And spectate.
Yeah.
Jared was like, well, yeah. I mean, what could he say?
He said, send me a write-up so we can look into it. It's like, all right, I got you a write-up.
I mean, look at it.
Yeah.
See what it's doing.
So we did get High Castle Omega, is what they're calling it. It is the new High Castle. It's like the rework of the entire map, but this is what they had to say about it. But First Watch, what about the old High Castle? Worry not. We felt that the gameplay differences between the two maps are significant enough to warrant them both being in the map pool. We look forward to playing this new map with you all and excited to hear what you think. High Castle is the worst map.
I don't want to play the old map anymore.
I don't want to play the old map either.
I just want to play the new one.
Yeah, like we shouldn't be subjected to this type of torture. Like it doesn't play on any game modes except for demo, right? And maybe King of the Hill, but King of the Hill's not in there. I don't think you play it on Extraction. I don't think it's in 6v6 Team Deathmatch. I don't think it's in Strikeout. Like, it's only in there for demo and possibly TDM. Oh yeah, that's right. It is in 6v6 TDM. Okay, that's right. So, but still though, like, it's too small for 6v6 TDM. First of all, and like, it's so defender heavy. It's an old map. And the new map, like, it looks good. It plays different. It has a whole new feel. It has a whole new experience attached to it. Why do they need to keep the old map? I don't under. It's like they're working on canals right now, right? Mm-hmm. Are they going to do the same thing with canals?
Nope. He said they can't bring the old canals back.
So, I mean,
too many bugs, too many problems.
Okay, so what's the difference?
Shut that down.
Mm-hmm.
It's sad because I love canals. That was one of my faves.
We'll get another version of it. 2.0.
Yeah.
Better, right?
I mean, and that's true. If they keep the old map for High Castle, why can't they bring the old Glacier map back? You know, like, what?
Bring the window back?
Yeah, bring the windows back, baby. I'm ready for it. So, but in other news here for Rogue balance changes, in this update, players will see the return of a gameplay role, Intel. This role specializes helping their team to gain information on enemy positions to turn engagements in their favor. They sit in the middle of the spectrum between support and duelist, gathering intel while also being able to hold their own as they put themselves at risk for their team. We've done this as it opens up a creative creative avenue for how we approach a collective of rogues that have similar tool sets and opens the doors for new intel ideas for the future. You'll see a good number of rogues that used to have this role step back into it, and some of the newer rogues assume it as well. Some of these rogues require little to no changes as they're already well equipped for the task. So the intel rogues that we are going to be getting: Dallas, Glimpse, Seeker, Phantom, and Talon. And I don't mind this. Like, if you want to look at it from a pure intel standpoint based off of abilities alone, there's technically only 3. You got Dallas, Seeker, and Talon. But I personally still consider Phantom and Glimpse like intel-esque characters.
Yeah.
I mean, especially Phantom. She's right up there, you know?
Yeah.
They said they had some more, some gadgets that never made it to the game, that they might roll out some intel gadgets.
I mean, and that would be okay with me, because like the sticky sensors, they have become more and more increasingly problematic in respawn game modes. Like, remember back whenever like 6v6 TDM was happening, or maybe 6v6 King of the Hill, and there was just like, I remember playing Favelas, and the entire top of Favelas, where the tree was, is just covered in sticky sensors.
Like a laser show.
There's like 80 of them up there, and you're like, what is this? So like, I think that there's room for them to improve some of this. And like, they could also create other additional perks or rework some of the perks. Like, why doesn't tracker rounds, like if they gave Dima a new passive, they could roll explosion damage into the tracker rounds kind of portfolio at that point with explosions, things like that. So there's ways for that to grow. And then there's also ways for like, it's easier, in my opinion, to come up with like an intel rogue or a breacher rogue, someone that's like a blaster, quote unquote blaster, than it is to come up with more niche style rogues like support or defender to an extent. So hopefully it'll open the door for them creating new rogues with that intel identity. You know what I mean? Wouldn't be mad at it at all. But I'm glad to see that the intel class is coming back, and there may be other things that factor into this in the future as to why they're kind of broadening the spectrum when it comes to classes for the rogues themselves, because like the reason that they were eliminated before was because of like the perk changes and also Battlezone. But like Battlezone sucks, so why are we taking classes away because of a terrible game mode? So
they got the game mode.
Exactly, right. Yeah. Okay, so for the rogue changes, we have Mac here. So his perk loadout has been updated to better reflect the defender/breacher hybrid. So he's going to have rare berserker, rare blaster, rare armor is going to be slotted out, and nimble hands is going to replace it. Epic stalker is going to be slotted out, and epic bulletproof is going to replace it. Epic Gunsmith, Epic Bounce Back, Legendary Crackshot is going to take the fall, and Legendary Stalker is going to be slotted in, and Legendary Restock is going to take the fall, and Legendary Tenacity is going to be slotted in. Also, his passive ability, since they're removing the armor perk from him, is going to be reverted back to where whenever you down someone, you get 25 armor back on a down. This is a pretty significant change up to Mac as a whole.
Yeah, it is. It
Like,
kind of hurts him a lot, I feel like.
It does, but it makes him like, okay, bulletproof is better than armor, in my opinion. And it's at the epic level. And he's still going to retain armor by default, and he's still going to be able to regain armor on downs. And then Legendary Tenacity is like absolutely insane, and he's got bounce back. Like, he's still going to be tanky as all hell. But giving him Legendary Stalker is going to make him like, he's going to be a really good like breacher or almost a duelist at that point, you know?
Yeah.
So it's just, at the end of the day, it is what it is, you know? But I don't think this is going to make him like unplayable by any stretch of the imagination. I just think that like no longer having Legendary Crackshot, especially with the weapons that he has access to by default, is going to make him less oppressive, and then Legendary Restock is going to make him much less oppressive than he was before, because like you already have a light machine gun that has 100 bullets in it, and then you're going to reload it every time you down someone. Like, that's insane. You know, someone made a video where they were playing Mac and they got legendary restock and just didn't stop shooting.
Yeah.
At all, the whole match, and they were just wiping people. It might have been Brad. I don't know. I don't remember who it was, but it was insane. So for glitch, the hack activation time was reduced from 2 seconds down to 1.5 seconds, and the duration of the hack was increased from 5 seconds up to 6 seconds. Now, it is faster. I did notice that it is significantly faster, even though it is a half a second. But here's my standpoint from glitch hack. People may agree, people may disagree. As soon as you initiate that hack, they should not be able to do anything, because people already figured out how to like bug the system, right? Or cheat the system. Yeah. If you're in the process of getting hacked, you can pull the APS system out and throw it down and it won't destroy it. Or you can throw the juke drone and it won't destroy it. Or you can throw a grenade and it's still going to be a grenade and all this stuff. Like, I understand that that's like counterplay to Glitch's ability, but like, does every character need to be able to counterplay his ability? I don't think that they do. Like, Glitch has already fallen into more of a niche character than he was before, in my opinion. You don't see as many people playing Glitch, or at least I don't see as many people playing Glitch since they changed the way that his ability works. So, like, is this really that great of a change? Like, it is a good change, but could it be better? I think it could be better. So for Cannon, for the Gatling gun, his movement speed reduction was removed, and the headshot damage for the Gatling gun was increased from 16 to 18. It still doesn't, like, okay, the movement speed is fine. Maybe the ready time needs to be shortened for it, like the amount of time that it takes him to pull it out or something. Because like the turtle, the classic turtle cannon was absolutely a viable way to like get into a situation that you don't need to be in and be able to turtle down with that thing and like take minimal damage while still being aggressive. In a 1v4 situation, it would save you. Now, whenever you're in a 1v4 situation, the last thing you want to do as a cannon is to pull the Gatling gun out. And like the movement speed reduction, yeah, it sucked. But realistically, how many cannons are walking around with this big ass thing just mowing people down? Like, you'll see it from time to time, but they get dropped fairly quickly, you know? So
And Griffin do it.
I mean, from time to time. Yeah. I mean, I've had my moments where I've done it, but like, it is something that's very oppressive whenever you have someone trapped in a corner. But like, if we load into a match right now and I just pull it out at the beginning and I just start swinging it around like crazy, like, I'm going to get dropped pretty quick.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like, it's going to be bad. They're going to be getting that off of the battlefield as quickly as possible. So it is a bump up for him, but it's such a niche ability already. And then they made it even more of like an unreliable ability by take away the mounting aspect. That's fine. Like, most people didn't even know you could mount that thing on cover, but being able to crouch with it and going into that turtle mode still was able to keep yourself alive. I don't know. There's other things that they could do, in my opinion, to make that better. Like, once he pulls it out, he can pocket it and it doesn't consume the ult. Why not make that something that consumes the ult? Instead of like, that way, if you get one chance to pull it out, and if you pull it out, then you better use it, because if you don't, it's going to go on recharge or cooldown. So Dallas is now an Intel rogue. His loadout changes are Riptide was replaced with a HRM-30K, and the Adrenaline Shot was replaced with the EMP grenade. And also there is a quality of life thing here where recharge now appropriately refreshes target finder while the ability is still active. You can only have one reveal out at a time. So there was a bug that happened whenever you had a reveal out and you downed someone else, then you wouldn't get the ability back. You had to down another person to get the ability back. Now it actually gives it back to you the way that it's supposed to, but you can't trigger the snap until after the previous target reveal has ended. And that's fine. Like it works the way that it's supposed to. But I'm glad that he's getting the 30K back. Like it sucks that he's getting it back now after we saw the peak HRM 30K play. But it is, and then the EMP grenade. Like I love the fact that he's got EMPs back. I love it. I'm so happy that he has them back. The adrenaline shot was fine. I enjoyed the adrenaline shot play style with him, but I liked the EMP much better, in my opinion. So for Talon, he is now an Intel rogue, and they also adjusted his perk loadout pretty significantly here. So Rare Hunter was replaced with Rare Tracker rounds, Rare Shredder rounds, Rare Armor. Epic Nimble Hands was replaced with Epic Crackshot, Epic Padded Steps, of course. Epic Life Drain was replaced with Epic Tenacity. Legendary Tenacity was replaced with Legendary Life Drain, and Legendary Crackshot was replaced with Legendary Nimble Hands. So I'm glad that he's getting tracker rounds in his kit. Like that's cool. Legendary Life Drain and Legendary Nimble Hands is like an insane combo.
Yeah.
He can reload so fast. Like whatever he has, he can reload it so fast. And then him having it's so fast that you're still waiting for the animation to like it happens so quickly that and you're so used to how fast or how long it normally takes that by the time it ends you're like, oh, did I not reload? And you're like, wait, I did. Like it happens that quickly, so it is a nice change up. I do like it a lot. I think Talon definitely needed something, but is this going to make him OP? That's the question.
Will it?
I mean,
we still have replenish, right?
No, he doesn't have replenish.
I mean, no, we still have replenish in the game, right?
Oh yeah, of course.
So probably not.
I think that Legendary Nimble Hands is a perfect like substitute for replenish.
Yeah, I think so too. That sounds like yeah.
Also, the Mag Glove's retrieve time was reduced from 0.5 seconds to 0.25 seconds. Dude, it's so snappy. You're able to just pull stuff through walls almost like instantaneous and it's ready to roll. Like it's like cutting it in half. It doesn't seem like it's a lot, but it feels really, really good. Like I wish that that's how quickly you could retrieve stuff whenever he was able to like pull the bomb and pull utility and stuff whenever utility dropped, because he would be a madman if he had that, And it does allow, like, the Talon playstyle where you throw the dart, you pull the dart back, you throw the dart, you pull the dart back, the way that he was kind of intended to be played. Now you can do that and you can actually pull it back before they have a chance to find it and shoot it. So it makes that more of a viable way to like scan the area with his dart to see where enemies are. So it helps out a lot in that way. So for the weapons, LMGs are getting an identity adjustment. These weapons are heavy and powerful weapons that take considerable effort and technique to wield. For their identity, we are exploring the idea of all LMGs possessing the accuracy behavior that the Conviction has paved the way for and will balance LMGs both current and future in this unique accuracy type. Additionally, we are considering that the huge firepower of this weapon also comes at a slight mobility cost when compared to their smaller caliber or capacity siblings. Let us know what you think. So the Maw, of course, is currently overperforming and will receive additional adjustments over time to bring it down to manageable levels. Between the identity adjustment and the removal of an upgrade piece, we'll observe and make adjustments as data comes in. So the base weapon headshot damage for the Maw was reduced from 24 down to 22. They removed the ADS movement speed upgrade from the rare, epic, and legendary upgrade path for the weapon. They gave it a negative 5% movement speed reduction penalty, I guess you could say, and then an accuracy / bloom behavior change to fit the LMG identity, which is like, it starts out with like crazy bloom, and then the longer you fire it, the more it kind of narrows in and becomes more accurate.
Yeah.
The the Conviction also received that -5% movement speed reduction penalty. So testing this out and running around with the Maul, like you would think that like since the Maul has a faster fire rate, things like that, that it would be adjusted to where it would take not longer, but more bullets would have to be fired with the Maul to be able to like draw that in as tight as possible so that you can get those pinpoint accurate shots with it. And it really didn't take as much as I thought it would. Like you shoot like 5 bullets out of it, maybe 6, and it's pretty damn accurate at that point when you're ADSing it. So it's noticeable, but not really noticeable because like you can with as many bullets that's currently, you know, in the magazine or in the clip, whatever, box drum, whatever it is, you can like pre-fire a corner, kind of like you do with a Conviction, and then start peeking out once you get it kind of narrowed in the way that you want it to. So it's not a significant change in my opinion. It's just different than it was before. It's still accurate, it's still going to burn people down, you know.
Still an LMG.
Yeah. And the movement speed reduction, like you can feel it slightly, but you don't notice it because you start the round with your weapon. You don't really notice it until you swap over to like your pistol. Or if you pick another weapon up, you're like, oh, I am moving slower. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's there, but it's not really there, but it's there. Like it's kind of like speed and toughness. If you're running around with a team of anvils, whenever they had the speed and toughness thing in, you thought that you were just as fast as everybody else because you felt like you were. And then you like line up next to Lancer and you're like, yeah, I'm very slow, you know? So it's kind of the same idea there. But I'm interested to see how this is actually going to affect them all because like, I can absolutely see this be a placebo type effect to where people see that the Maul got changed in a way and they start to like go towards other weapons over the Maul when in reality, it's still going to be performing to the same level that it was before. It's just going to require a little bit of a change in play style to be able to make it that good, you know? So for SMGs, we've got 2 changes here, unfortunately. So the Objection Level 1 upgrade now increases the magazine size to 40. And for the D40C, they fixed the Level 2 upgrade's reload speed. I was really hoping for more. Like, honestly.
Just a little bit.
I was hoping, like, every update that we've gotten since they started like messing with stuff, there's always been significant SMG changes. And this is the first update where we've gotten SMG changes, but they're not as significant as the way that they, you know, decreased the accuracy of them and they adjusted the fall offs and they did all this kind of stuff. Like I was really expecting them to kind of come into it and say, okay, this is going to hopefully be our final pass on SMGs. We're going to adjust the fall off thresholds for the weapons and be done with it. But that didn't even happen. So I don't know. I guess people are happy and the developers are happy with the state that they're currently in, or they're trying to gather more feedback on it. But like, I don't know. I still feel like the damage thresholds need to be adjusted slightly for those weapons. And like, that's all of the weapon changes. So what about the assault rifle changes? Like, you can't sit here and tell me that the assault rifles are fine, right? Because they're not. I don't think they are.
No. I think the Riptide and the Mark IV are way too accurate and have no recoil. And I still think the KA kind of still has a too aggressive of a recoil.
Well, so, whenever you line up the Mark IV, the Sahara, the KA-30, and the Riptide, and you look at them side by side, it's like they reduce the hipfire accuracy, increase the ADS accuracy.
But they didn't really change much.
Yeah, they're all different variations of the same thing. It's like, do you want something that fires a little bit slower but hits hard? You've got the Sahara. You want something that fires fast and it's super accurate still? You've got the Riptide. You want something somewhere in the middle? You've got the Mark IV and the KA-30. You know, it's like...
Yeah. True.
Like whenever they're talking about identity, like to me, the Hydra has a unique identity now. It very much feels like a DMR that is fully automatic at this point.
It was amazing.
Yeah. And
It's
you do
beautiful
have,
forms.
yeah, you do have to play with it differently than you played with the Hydra before, because it is a completely different play style. But you can really sit there and say, okay, that's the bridge. That gaps the bridge between assault rifles and DMRs, just like the Nightshade gaps the bridge between SMGs and assault rifles. But at least like with the SMGs, you have variations. Like you have the LMPX that's like the assault rifle / SMG. You have the Knight that fires really, really slow and hits hard. You have the SLC that like is pretty much it dumps ammo. It's got a somewhat aggressive recoil on it, but it can dump ammo and it can be very successful. But it's got like some range limitations to it. And then you have the D40 that's kind of like the catch-all. It's kind of like the middle ground of the SMGs. Then you've got the Objection, which is like, don't ADS it, just run, baby, and shoot that thing as quickly as you can, you know? So there's definitely distinct identities baked into SMGs at this point. Where's that same treatment to assault rifles? Because that's what I want. So for the gadgets, the EMP received a small change. The damage to deployables has been increased from 300 up to 600. So that should effectively allow us to double EMP an anvil shield and get rid of it. Which is like, finally, you know what I mean? Because we've been asking for how long, like why the EMPs don't like do at least more damage to the anvil shield or something. You know, it feels like it hits it and doesn't do anything to it. You know,
yeah, it just bounces all up.
Yeah. So at least now we can like double tap it. So if we're running a team that has 2 EMP characters or a runway on the team and they block off a specific lane, well, you can just EMP it twice and you can sneak through there. Because like on Icarus, whenever they go to B and they drop the anvil shield on the B plant side on Icarus, then they're like, well, if they're going to go to B, they're going to have to go through mid. So we'll just watch mid. We've got it under control. Not if you got EMPs, babies. You can just shut it down, you know? So, or you can now hop the wall. We figured out how to hop that wall. So the game's about to change. You know what I'm saying?
Dude, I'm trying. I still haven't mastered that yet, but
doing it while you're getting shot at is a whole different thing, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of pressure there.
So for perks, Nimble Hands, Rare Nimble Hands reload and swap speed has improved from 10% up to 20%, and Quick Hands price has been increased from 7,500 up to 9,000. Quick Hands is a great perk.
Yeah.
And I mean, I don't know if like 7,500 is the right place for it to exist, but I don't know if 9,000 is the right place for it to exist either. You know,
in the middle.
Yeah. 8250, call it done. You know what I mean? Like, let's split the difference here, guys. 8250. It's the only perk that has a 50 at the end of it. Let's split the difference on it, baby. So for Demolition, this is the only game mode change that they have so far. The interaction distance to defuse the bomb has been reduced from 2.8 meters down to 1 meter. This is an effort to try to like stop people from stretch defusing the bomb, which seems to be like the biggest atrocity in the world when it comes to comp. And I'm going to kind of get on a soapbox here for just a second. Okay, it's fine. It's fine. They reduced the interact distance from 2.8 meters down to 1 meter. It's fine. Whatever. Like everybody was like, you can't stretch defuse in comp anymore. You can't stretch defuse and comp in anymore. Okay, here's my perspective on that. If you're able to, you as the attacking team, plants the bomb close enough to where someone can stretch defuse it, then why the fuck are you bitching about it? You see what I'm saying? Like most plant sites, if not all plant sites, is a large enough area
Yeah.
to where you can
on you.
Exactly. And people are still able to jump defuse it. And jump defusing is where you jump over the bomb, you look down, you start the defuse process while you're in the air, you land on the other side of it, you crouch, you can still defuse the bomb. Okay, so they don't want to have any type, like the competitive scene doesn't want to have any type of like mechanical way to try to defuse the bomb in any type of different way. Why? Like, isn't that all based off of strategy?
And skill.
Exactly. 90% of the comp players want like all the weapons to be pinpoint accurate to a T, but they don't want anybody stretch defusing. What are you doing? Like, I don't know, man. It's fine. It's still a thing. Here's the thing, like if you're in a 1v4 situation after your team planted the bomb, like if at that point, who cares if they're stretch defusing it? You're going to get killed anyway. Even if you're good, someone could literally be standing on top of the bomb while you're getting pushed by 3 people. Okay? Complete opposite of this. A 4v1 situation, your team plants the bomb, there's 4 of you, and there's 1 person on the enemy team, and they get up there and they're able to defuse the bomb by stretch defusing it. That's on you for not watching the bomb. There's 4 of you alive. 4 versus 1 is pretty good odds. You know, like, I just don't understand that complaint. I don't understand that thought process whatsoever. It's like, okay, so they can defuse it from a greater distance away. It's like, and? I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm alone in that, but like, that's kind of how I feel about it right now. So, of course, we did get a reveal of the new event pass, which I don't have any of the screenshots or anything. There's several people that have the screenshots and videos available. Brad's already got like 3 videos up in the last 4 hours. So be sure to go check that stuff out from Brad. There's several other people. I think Rabbit-tastic uploaded some videos and other creators. But the event pass is fine. It's an event pass just like the rest of them. But all in all, I mean, for this being the PTS notes, like, of course, there's going to be more things to come, and we're fixing to get into some more of that stuff here in just a second. But just based off of this write-up, what do you guys think about this update as a whole?
They're going to roll that LMG back next update. Nah, I'm just kidding.
Do you think that they'll hit the LMGs harder in the next update?
I don't know. We got to see how this. Maybe.
Yeah, I don't know how any of the weapons feel, you know?
Yeah.
I haven't ran any of them to actually be like, so, yeah. I don't know, man. The ARs, again, dude, the ARs need something.
Can I get a little bit of hip fire?
Just
a little bit.
Just the hair, you know? Yeah, I mean, all in all, and the last update that we got, the mid-season update for Eternal Conflict, had some pretty significant changes in there. That's when they rolled out that last actual changes to SMGs in it. So I don't know, and of course things could change between now and when the update actually comes out, and we should get a finalized version of what the patch notes for that update are going to be. But at the same time, it's like, if they're going to have the, like, this is 3.2 update, if it's going to be the 3 wishes event pass, and it's going to have less balance changes and more like quality of life changes and like new things being added into the game, that's fine. I'm fine with that. But at the same time, like, I don't think I've ever heard anybody say that that's what's happening. I know that the mid-season updates are going to be more balance heavy because they're not going to have any new content to put in the game. So of course they're going to be balance heavy because that's all they've got to put into it. But I was hoping for more.
Or you fix all the shit you broke.
Yeah, in the previous. One. Yeah, right. Let's go in there and try to
skin. I don't know about that, man.
It's kind of weird, right?
It's like, what?
Yeah.
I like that Saint skin.
That Will Smith
of that movie.
It reminded me of 3,000 years of.
I was like, somebody watched that recently.
Yeah, right.
Someone asked, it was like, where's the theme here?
Yeah, I know, right?
It's like, well, I'm not really in charge of that.
Yeah, it is kind of weird, but It is what it is. So we have some other things to talk about here with Ranked. So Ranked rules: play in a separate competitive queue against Rogue Company's finest. You gain RP by winning matches. You must be account level 25 and own 12 rogues in order to participate. You play 10 qualifier matches to be placed in a ranked tier. Qualifying players will be able to party with players up to Gold 1. As you can see here, this is kind of the breakdown. So you've got 5 levels within each, ranked tier. To be able to go up to, progressing through the ranks and whatnot. But they're actually putting in ranked rewards here. We're getting play 30 matches of ranked in year 3, season 2, and you get the Devil Dema avatar, which we have right here. And I think it's a pretty cool avatar. I like it. It's pretty cool. Reach Rogue rank, you get a shiny and chrome cannon outfit, which is just basically a recolor, but it's all chromed out. I like the
hair.
Yeah, I know. He's got that chrome dome hair going on, So I mean, it is a recolor at the end of the day. Why didn't they do his mustache? Okay. I'm just now looking at the skin. Why didn't they do his mustache here? And his body hair.
Hulk Hogan,
all of his body hair, the chest hair and the arm hair, just do it all white like that.
That might be overkill, dog.
I mean,
the body hair.
I would dye my body hair like my chest hair for the right reason and the right cause.
I know you would. You had a pink beard.
I mean, exactly.
Beard.
So
do it.
If you reach the top 500 in Rogue rank, you get the Brimstone Sahara Mythic Weapon Wrap, which we have right here. So this is like a fancy, of course, recolor of one of the last mythics. It was in the last battle pass, like official battle pass that they had, where it was like the white bone with the blue, like glowing effects on it. Well, this is more of like the Brimstone colored bone with like red effects. So for being in top 500, you get that, and you also unlock the Rainbow Dust Dema outfit here. And
with the Saint pants. Yeah.
They are the Saint pants, aren't they?
That's the pants that the Demon Days has. They're just a different color.
I didn't
But when
even
I
notice.
saw them on him, I was like, Saints pants.
Yeah, I didn't even notice, dude.
Dude, did you hear what he say about that rank stuff? Just because you reach 500 doesn't mean you get that. You got to stay 500.
Yeah.
You could be pushed. So they're only going to release 500 of those.
Yeah. And that's it. Allegedly. Allegedly. So if these things show up in a box in the next 2 years, don't come gunning for me. But allegedly, this is the only way to receive these items. And they are recolors at the end of the day. And then of course the avatar is what it is. It's fine. But here's what I will say about it. How many times has anybody, whether it be on Reddit, on Twitter, comment posting videos, Q&As, how long have people been asking for ranked rewards?
Since rank came out.
Exactly. How long? Also, just so everybody's aware, there is a ranked leaderboard that's going to be available as well, that you're going to be able to see, who's in the top 500 or whatever. It may go past that. I don't know. I don't know all the details. I've got to rewatch the beginning of the Q&A stream to get some of that information because I was muted and all that stuff. But anyway, they're going to have leaderboards for all this stuff. So the two things that people have been asking for, ranked leaderboards and ranked rewards, are going to be coming into the game in the 3.2 update. The reason in the past why they said that they didn't want to put ranked rewards in the game and spend time on it was because the ranked player pool was so small. It's such a very, very small group of people that play ranked. If they go into it right now and they release these rewards and they release these leaderboards and it doesn't have any type of uptick in ranked activity, are we going to get like unique items, and by unique items, I mean specifically designed as ranked rewards after this ranked season ends? No. They're just going to do recolors every single time just to keep their mouths shut. Why would you invest time into designing something specific for something that has the lowest player count in the entire game? You know, like,
yeah,
I understand.
I'm pretty sure it's just going to be that 500. Like,
yeah, right.
It's not going to have everybody on it.
Right.
Top players.
So, and I understand, like, I get it. I understand, you know, these are recolors. I understand where people are coming from, but like we've said in the past, if you want ranked rewards, then start playing ranked and try to get people that you play with to start playing ranked. They even put ranked strikeout into the game. And I'm sure that they received a pretty significant uptick in ranked players just because they put ranked strikeout. Because like I said before, when they introduced that, every Tom, Dick, and Harry that played strikeout was like, oh, they've got ranked strikeout? I'm going to get on here and straight murder people. And then they drop in and they're like, whoa, this is a little, I can't run Lancer every game because there's picks and bans and drafts and all kinds of stuff happening. So are they realistically going to continue with this if the population doesn't increase? Yes, I think they will. I think they'll all be fancy recolors, and I think that that'll be the extent of it. So anybody out there that's listening, please, if you want better rank rewards, play ranked. Grind these things out to let them know that you want this, that you need this in your life. Because if not, then you don't really have a platform to stand on at that point. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
It is what it is. Like, how many things have we seen in battle passes that have been recolors, yet we still bought the battle passes? How many things have we grinded in the game that are just recolors of this, that, and the other, but we still grinded for them? We still tried to get them. Like, this is the same thing here. I know ranked is more frustrating. I know that there's more at stake and there's more on the line, but just you being in ranked and queuing for that game mode is going to net positive in the developer's eyes. You don't have to get to 500. You don't have to do anything. You just need to show up. I'm going to show up.
4 bands too now.
Yeah, they're increasing.
That was crazy.
Yeah, they're increasing the band count per side to 2 bands on each side. So that's going to make for some very interesting team comps moving forward.
I think he said, so if it's level 25, you also have to have like 12 rogues.
Yeah.
Unlocked in order to play.
And I think you start out with what, 6? 6, maybe 8 rogues at start. So that should kind of deter people that are newer into the game from just dropping in and just being in ranked and existing. Yeah. Oh my God. The Preacher Broad said ranked. Nobody's getting saved in ranked. I'm sorry. Nobody's repenting in ranked. Oh, nobody whatsoever. So, but I'm going to do my due diligence. You know, I've played ranked in the past, like the past several seasons. I've got in there. I've ran the qualifier games. I've ran games here and there in ranked just to kind of keep up with the times and to see what that ranked experience is. But moving into the next season, I'm going to get on there and I'm going to play it. I'm not going to be like if I get in the top 500, then so be it. But I'm not trying to get into the top 500. I just want to play more ranked. That's, you know, I'm not putting myself through that level of stress, you know?
Yeah.
I already know how it's going to be. So last up, before we get into the community section, we do have a post over here on Twitter by @the Rogue Masters talking about the LAN event that will be happening in August. So there's been some information that's been released. They were going to do like a summer series type deal, and things have kind of been fluidly moving around behind the scenes over there. But this is the latest information that we have for the Rogue Masters. So it will be in Las Vegas. There will be online qualifiers ran each Sunday in May. The LAN event has been changed to August 11th and 12th. June and July will be used to coordinate and confirm flights and hotels for all players and talent. So this thing is like going off without a hitch, right? Like they're there was a lot of naysayers. I will say that were like, there's no way that this Rogue Masters thing is ever going to get off the ground. They're not going to have a LAN event. It's not going to happen in Vegas. I'm not even going to pay any attention to it. Blah, 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 blah. It's happening, man. Like, they're going to run qualifying matches, every Sunday in May. And if that's the case, if I can find out like when the qualifying matches are going to be happening, might change the stream schedule up just a little bit, because like I do want as many people to check this out as humanly possible. Like, I do feel like there can be a successful like competitive scene that is ran outside of RCCS, outside of even like high res and all that stuff. And I think that like this is the only like the realest shot that they have at making something work. And I'm interested to see if there's going to be more people that are going to join into this over time, or if we're going to see the usual suspects of people that we've seen at the last RCCS, you know, and all that stuff. Like, I'm very interested because there's been so many people that have came into competitive, whether it be through Elvin's tournaments or the Underground Gamer guys tournaments that they've been running, or various other tournaments. So I'm hoping that we get some new faces in there, and I'm hoping that they are able to make a very entertaining and a very interesting tournament series play out. I hope that by the time they get ready to run these qualifiers, they have like overlays built out. They have, you know, talent that's going to be hosting and casting over these, because that's been kind of the biggest drawback for Underground Gamers is like, there's a lot of them that they don't stream. You have to watch competitors stream it. You have to watch this, that, and the other. So like, it would be nice if it was all housed under one thing. And I know a lot of people are like, well, it would be nice if they could do it on the Rogue Company Twitch channel. And like, here's what I'm going to say about that. If they were able to stream anything on the Twitch channel, wouldn't it make sense that all these Q&A dev streams that the creators and the board members have been doing happen on the Twitch stream? I don't know what's going on there, but there's a reason why that hasn't happened. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. So
like, that's all I'm going to say about it. But I mean, I hope everybody shows up and supports it. I'm excited about it. I'm interested. Yeah. I'm interested to see what their breakdown's going to be. Is it going to, because I know that King of the Hill's been disabled for a while, and there was a lot of people running King of the Hill tournaments, this, that, and the other. So I wonder if that'll factor into the tournament somehow, if it's strictly going to be Demolition, if they're going to try to put Strikeout back into it, like it's in some way. Like, I don't know what the format for it's going to be, but and with 2 bands per team.
Yeah.
And there may be, between now and then, what's Ranked going to look like? Because there's been talk of like disabling weapon mastery in Ranked.
Mm-hmm.
That could shake things up in a gigantic way.
They really have to depend on the road.
Yeah. Regardless of like what game mode they play, it's going to shake things up like crazy. So, yeah, right. So it could make for, I mean, I don't want to jinx anything, knock on wood, you know what I'm saying? But it could be the best tournament that they've ever put on. Like, I would be very excited to watch a 2-band per team, draft pick, no weapon mastery, like no GA stuff. You know what I mean? Where like you pick a rogue and they have access to 2 weapons, whether it be shotguns, because most of the tournaments that a lot of these people put on, they ban shotguns, they ban this, they ban that, blah, 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 blah. No, I want to see like a full blown, like everything's on the line. Let's make it happen, you know? So, but yeah, you guys ready for the community section?
Looks good.
Yeah. Let's do it. All right, guys, this is the community section of the unofficial, unofficial Rogue Company podcast. If you want to contribute in any way, you can hit us up on Twitter at BROGUECAST. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com, or you can join the Discord. There is a link in the description down below. Over on the Discord, there is a BROGUECAST contributions tab or section where you can post things such as the first topic that we're going to hit on here from Tanuki. So hello everyone. So as I mentioned on the last stream, I took a closer look on rare and epic versions of Crackshot. Before I share numbers, the testing was done in shooting range without accounting for armor and bulletproof, so it represents a bare bones 1v1 scenario. 3 body plus 3 head and stuff like that means the number of body shots plus the number of headshots you need to down an opponent. So rare crack shot used on Dahlia. The objection gets plus 7% damage, 7 headshots to down instead of 8. The D40 gets plus 5%, 3 body shots and 3 headshots instead of 4 body shots and 3 headshots. The SLC is 5% damage increase, 5 body shots plus 2 headshots instead of 6 body shots plus 2 headshots. 24S was plus 5 flat damage, 1 body shot and 4 headshots instead of 2 body shots and 4 headshots. The LMPX was no different. The Knight was plus 6% damage, 3 headshots to down instead of 4, or 3 body shot, 1 head instead of 4 body shot, 1 head. The IBEX was plus 6.67%, which is the highest other than the objection here. And it said, I don't know, burst weapon. Tanuki, you're killing me here. DMRs don't really benefit from rare crack shot. Even Mamba only gets plus 4 damage. The objection gets the highest percentage increase from crack shot, but it doesn't realistically matter because of how unreliable headshots are with this gun. The Knight gets the most of rare crack shot as it takes 3 bullets to the head at optimal range, which basically means that sometimes you are going to down enemies 25% faster thanks to rare crack shot. LMPX is the least efficient with this perk. Its effect isn't significant at all unless the opponent has some sort of protection. So for Epic Crack Shot, which was used on Phantom, the Nightshade was a plus 8% damage, so 4 headshots to down instead of 5. The KA-30 was plus 11%, no difference. The HRM was plus 10% damage, no difference. The Mark IV was plus 10% damage, 2 body shots, 2 headshots instead of 3 body shots, 2 headshots. The Sahara was plus 10%, no difference. The Riptide was plus 9% damage, 3 headshots to down instead of 4, 2 body shot, 2 head instead of 2 body shot, 3 headshots. The Hydra was plus 10% damage, no difference. Crackshot is generally better with faster firing weapons, so it doesn't affect ARs quite as much as SMGs. It is definitely worth using, as it can give you some value in real matches, but it can't save you in most 1v1 situations unless you are using the Riptide. In my opinion, Crackshot is what makes Riptide strong and competitive. Not much else to say here. Choose your guns wisely. Sorry for so much text. There's a lot of data. Tanuki straight breaks it down for us here with percentages, body shots, headshots. Like it's absolutely insane what Tanuki was able to figure out by doing this data breakdown. But it does show you that like it seems that the only real problematic version of Crackshot is the legendary version of Crackshot. And like he could have ran the legendary version of Crackshot with Mac on the SMGs to see if, like, especially before the changes happened, to see like compare it to rare. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I would like to see the data where it's like the rare, epic, and legendary versions of Crackshot with the SMGs, and the same thing with the assault rifles. Like, I'm not going to email Tanuki and be like, I need this data tomorrow. Yeah. But yeah, but if Tanuki took it upon themselves to go in there and test all this stuff out, I'm sure it would be super fascinating. I have a spreadsheet, an older spreadsheet of weapon TTK and Rogue Company. This was like from October of last year. So of course it's not been, and I could go in there and update it actually to make it appropriate, because I did that with the Hydra versus the Bishop to kind of get some differences there because of an argument, but that's beside the point. So I'm sure that there's a way to go in there and factor in Crackshot into some of these things. So I may do that and just kind of look at the damage numbers across the board just to see the differences. So if I can make that happen, then I'll just post that like on Reddit and in the Discord and stuff for public consumption. That way it has everything right there where it needs to be. But thanks for the contribution, Tanuki. I appreciate it, man. Next up, we have a post here by Jack Ives. I'm not playing ranked until crossplay is disabled. 90% of my ranked games, I match MVP, which is fine. What's not fine, however, is being the only PC player in a team of console players fighting against 4 PC players. Controller players are given an obvious disadvantage, and playing ranked is ruined by the fact that you can crossplay between PC and console players. I truly think that crossplay shouldn't be forced, since controller players have an obvious disadvantage against PC players. I love the fact that Rogue Company is on multiple platforms, but shooting games have a very blatant skill gap when it comes to comparing players who aim with one thumb as opposed to a full mouse with much more flexibility. This ruins ranked for me personally. No. Do you think ranked should be restricted to one platform only, or maybe optional in a player's settings? Why or why not? I don't know if I agree with this 100%.
Someone asked Jared. No.
Oh, yeah.
During the thing today? No, he's like, can't do that.
Yeah.
Like, that's above him. Not going to happen.
Yeah. I remember him saying that. He was like, quit asking about crossplay because it's not his. Yeah, I remember that.
He did say, like, we're going to try to fix the aim assist on PC.
Yeah.
But we can't turn it off. I mean, that's just not going to happen either.
Yeah, right. And the thing here is like, okay, this dude's playing on mouse and keyboard. That's fine. Each one has their pros and cons. Each one has their advantages and disadvantages. But like, if he's playing on PC, he should know more than anybody else that the reality of him being able to queue into a ranked match, if crossplay didn't exist, is almost non-existent. Like, there's not enough people on PC playing the game as it is, not to mention the amount of people that actually are playing on PC. Are they playing ranked? I would say no. I would say a lot of them. And if he was able to get into a ranked match, then it would be a very stressful ranked match that this person would be playing the same team over and over and over and over and over again. It'd be like people that are queuing ranked in the UK back like whenever Radthar was doing his thing, because he was like, I play against the same teams constantly. And I'm like, I don't know what to tell you. So, I don't think that it should be disabled. I think that like some nuances need to be kind of ironed out a little bit for console and for PC and all that kind of stuff. But I mean, what it comes down to is like the aim assist for console and for PC isn't scaling appropriately. There is no scale. There's one aim assist value across how many different platforms is this on? It's on 5 different consoles, and PC. So the aim assist doesn't scale based off of what you're playing on. It's one aim assist value. That's why people that play controller on PC have like crazy aim assist. People that play on PS4 have barely noticeable aim assist.
Mm-hmm.
It's one value across all input methods. So, or across all consoles. So that's a them problem. Like, that's something that they should have took into consideration, because they didn't have to worry about it at first. They balanced the aim assist around PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Well, guess what came out the following year? You know what I mean? They should have known ahead of time, because it was announced ahead of time that like, oh, these things are going to have a higher refresh rate. They're going to have better hardware. Maybe they should have prepared for that. I don't know. Next up here, dead for tax reasons. Dead for tax reasons posted here. Can we have non-expiring season passes? I know there's been thought of it taking too long to grind through a pass. It's definitely much more time intensive than it used to be, but I think it would really player friendly of them to make the passes don't expire. I would easily keep buying all battle passes that come out, but then I could play without worry that I may not complete a pass, which may keep me from purchasing it. We all have things that come up, whether it's other games that you switch to for a bit or real life stuff coming back to this game, where you miss the start of the season can lead someone to not buy pass because they won't finish it. Have a pass that goes into a storage area that you can work on later would set this game apart from almost all others with a season pass and let you buy a pass you like without the FOMO. Let's hear your thoughts, especially any of the ROCO team. I think that
a lot of work.
It sounds like a lot of work, but it's also very interesting, right? Well, it's like think about it this way, because in my head I'm envisioning it different than how this person's saying it. But like Eternal Conflict was like the first event pass that we got, right? And it's level 1 to 35, right?
Mm-hmm.
What if the next one comes out was like 36 to 70? And the next,
wow, it
just keeps adding to
Yeah.
it. That's a continuation.
Yeah. And the next one that comes out is like 71 to 106, you know?
Yeah.
And you do it for a full year.
Yeah. And then you
reset. You do a hard reset on it, you know?
Yeah. Now that would be okay.
Yeah. Like, and that's kind of
like setting up a server to run an old battle passes.
Yeah, I know, right? I understand why they probably wouldn't do that, because like once you added it, if they're going to do an update and an event pass every 6 weeks, like that's going to be a lot added to it over time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if they were able to go in there and set that up, I don't think that would be a bad idea, because you would have a year pass. At that point, you could appropriately plan out as a developer, like every 6 weeks, we're going to release a new pass. So that means every year we're going to release X amount of passes. That way, at the start of the year, let's say from like the first month of January is the grace period of like before the updates start rolling out and the new event starts to happen. You can have one pack that you can purchase that covers the expense of all of the season, like all of the event passes for the rest of the year. I would rather drop $100 or $150 in January and get all access to all of them right out of the gate than to drop $10 every 6 weeks to get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and then if you do it every 6 weeks, then you're only realistic, because it's a month and a half, and they dropped the first one 6 weeks ago now, and we're in April, so that would have been the middle of February. So it's like
I saw it. It's a little bit different because it's just pass related, but a guy kept asking like, "Hey, the next time you're going to push it back like this, could you like let us know a little earlier? Because like some of us spent money to finish it out." And I was like, yeah, I mean, you will have people that do that.
Yeah.
He never would answer the guy's question. He kept asking it.
I mean,
but then someone asked why, and he was like, I can't tell you why.
Yeah.
Like why we're doing it.
And maybe the reality is he didn't know about it.
Probably until they're like, we can't push it out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe
we need another week.
Yeah, maybe they didn't know about it at all. Like he didn't know about it, and then he's like, "Wait, we're pushing this back." Like, whoa.
Yeah.
So like, what? But yeah, like it would be nice to know all this information ahead of time. Like, dude, I didn't know that it was getting pushed back until someone came into the stream and was like, "Hey, this is getting pushed back," and I'm like, "I haven't heard anything about it." And then I'm a
creator.
Yeah, and then I
go, and you didn't even know.
Yeah. And I messaged Radar and I'm like, "What is the deal?" And he's like, "Yeah, we're pushing it back." And he's like, I'm like, "Okay, like I'm glad to know now." Yeah. Like people are asking me why, and I don't even know that it is. So like,
I'm gonna have to verify that.
Yeah, I don't know. So that's the thing though. Like communication is the greatest downfall of everything across the board. You know, at every job that I've had, there's always been communication breakdown. Yeah. Like everything across the board is communication breakdown, and that's where the bad comes from. So at the end of the day, it is what it is. But I would like for them to introduce something like that where it was like a rolling battle pass. It just constantly added to the level cap of the battle pass. That way, if someone actually came in like July and they're like, "Oh, we've already got 70 plus levels of stuff that I can grind for. They're fixing to release more. Sign me up, brother. You know, I'm going to get on here and just start grinding away at it, you know?"
Yeah. You got a different package too. Like if you don't want to start from the beginning, you could start where it's at now.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
But if you
So,
want to grind,
yeah, there it is. Grind on it, you know?
Oh,
All right. So next up, Todd Thunderbuns. All right, Todd. Todd Thunderbun said Rogue Company damage modifiers. Let me preface this question with, although I've played versions of COD, Apex, and other random shooters, I've mostly played Fortnite for over 3 years. Once you play most games, you get an idea of how many shots per or damage it takes to take down a target. This game seems like the most random I've ever played. I've been 2 shot to the body by a pistol wielding Dallas, and my teammates and I have unloaded clips into Switchblade. Yes, a Switchblade, and their HP barely ticked. What is your understanding of Rogue Company's damage modifiers? Thanks in advance. So, I mean, and the thing with this is like there's so many things that you have to take into consideration. You've got Crackshot, you've got Gunsmith or range, you've got the different variations of the weapons. There's so much that you have to take into effect. It would be nice, and I don't know why they don't do this, but it would be nice if whenever you looked at like the actual information for the weapons, it was like, here's the LMPX, here's how much damage it does. And it's got the range on the thing, but like, give us a breakdown. From this to this, it does this much damage. And from this to this, it does this much damage. And from this to this, it does that much damage. Then if you factor in Gunsmith on top of it, then from this to this, it does this, you know, like they should have an in-game way to be able to quickly reference this stuff like 110%. That way, there's no questions. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. You can actually see like, okay, I didn't do as much damage as I thought because they were slightly out of the range of this weapon that I'm using, you know? And then, of course, servers. I mean, of course, like maybe on your screen, you're lighting the Switchblade up, but this Switchblade is nowhere near you. And that's why they didn't. Yeah. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So next up, we have a post by 3Jed. We got a couple of 3Jed posts here. An idea to help tone back lethal gadgets. It's fair to say that since toughness was removed, gadgets have been a slight problem. Most of them had their upgraded damage values increased to fit better with the introduction of toughness. But now that toughness is gone, some slight tweaks need to be made, at least in my opinion. Here's what I would do. Make all lethal gadgets cost $6,000 to buy an upgrade. This would mean that you'd no longer be able to buy both a primary and lethal gadget at the start of the match in all modes that aren't ranked demolition. In ranked demolition, the starting cash would be increased to $6,000 so that you could still buy a lethal gadget at the very start of the game, because the ability to do that when you can't buy a primary straight away is very important. This change to the pricing of lethal gadgets would also make them slightly more expensive overall, meaning the choice of buying a gadget versus buying another thing requires a bit more thought and cash investment. Revert the stick damage of the Semtex grenade to 250. The Semtex stick damage when upgraded was buffed to 300 because of toughness. Scorch and Anvil were both able to tank fully upgraded stuck Semtexes because they had one or more levels of toughness that allowed them to survive it. Now that toughness is gone, no matter how much money you invest into bulk perks, a fully upgraded stuck Semtex will down you every time, even Scorch and Anvil. Reverting the stick damage back to 250 would put Scorch and Anvil back into that exclusive group of rogues that can tank any singular explosive with enough investment. At first, I was thinking that upgrades like the Semtex and Bounce Grenade, which had their normal explosive damage when upgraded buffed to 125 for the introduction of toughness, should be reverted back to 100 as well. But now that there are 3 tiers of armor and 3 tiers of tenacity, when there was only 1 armor perk and 1 tenacity perk back when their damage values were 100, I think it's fair game that Semtex and Bounce Grenades stay at 125 damage when upgraded. I personally think that these changes would be enough to once and for all put lethal gadgets where they need to be in Rogue Company. What are your thoughts? So I don't think that this is a bad idea, and I absolutely see where they're coming from, because like it's the same thing with the SMG changes that we've been going through. It's like you decrease the accuracy of the SMGs, and then you like buff the ammo count, you buff the damage values of it, and then over time you start reverting it slowly back to what it was before, but you don't remove the damage of it. You don't remove the ammo capacity of it. You leave it right where it is. So you buffed them like crazy whenever you remove the accuracy. Now we're going to remove the accuracy but not adjust them. Same thing happened with gadgets like grenades, lethal gadgets, whenever they swapped from the speed and toughness system back to the way that it was before. I get it. Increasing the cost of it would balance it out faster, but
Still won't solve it.
No, because like then they'll still invest money into it if they need to, and like reverting the stick damage to Simtex back to 250. I'm okay with that. Like I don't mind it because Anvil's supposed to be tanky, Scorch is supposed to be tanky, Dima is supposed to be tanky because they have those high legendary perks that's supposed to make them tanky. I don't mind that, but I don't know if that's something that they're going to go back on at this point.
Yeah,
I think it's too far gone. Like the will for lethals it's not squeaking loud enough yet. It's the same thing with the C4. Speed and toughness, the C4 was the worst lethal gadget. Speed and toughness removed, now it's the best gadget.
Yes, yep.
So and I agree. Like I think that like maybe the damage for the C4 should be toned down a little bit. It shouldn't be one tapping every single person that you throw it at in round one. Like, there should be someone that should be able to survive it. I think it downs Mac with armor. I think it does 125 damage, right? So like I get it. I understand. And like some rogues should have that identity of like I can tank this blast. Whenever you start investing into them, but right out of the gate, like it's kind of crazy.
Yeah.
But I think that like adjusting the values for lethals, pistols, and melee weapons would be a great thing to do. And I think like once you start increasing some of these prices for some of these things, you could effectively go in there and reduce the perk count for each rogue from 8 back down to 6 and slot something different into their kit that they can either purchase or have access to. You know what I mean? I didn't mind the 6 perks. So. All right, next up we have another post here by 3Jad. New Phantom ult idea. Ability Apparition. Ooh. 45-second cooldown, 10 or 15-second duration when activated. Whenever Phantom shoots while her ultimate is active, she leaves a continuously shooting decoy on that spot. This tricks people into thinking that the decoy is where Phantom is, when in reality she's going or has gone somewhere else where she can get the jump on people. This new ultimate would be good for Phantom because it would not only add a new type of ability to the game, but it also plays into her identity as a Phantom assassin. This would also synergize particularly well with Rare Evade, which Phantom should have over Rare Helping Hands. Phantom shouldn't lose her nano smoke grenade though. It should be turned into her tactical gadget, which would replace her sticky sensor. If necessary, the smoke area and duration could be nerfed for the base level grenade and get buffed back to where it is now when you upgrade it. This would also make it so that both Phantom and Fixer, the snipers of the game, have unique smoke tacticals that fit into their playstyle. That's a pretty interesting idea.
Yeah, make me want to pick her more.
Yeah, exactly, right? You just throw a decoy.
It's a good distraction.
Yeah.
And it still shoots, but it doesn't hit them, but it's like shooting.
Yeah, right. No, like, wait a minute. Dude.
It's not moving.
Yeah. Oh my God. That would be really cool.
To go up against too, like,
I know, right?
Clever girl.
It could be one of those things that like if you shoot it one time, it like deflates it. You know what I mean? And gets rid of it. But like, dude, I'm thinking factory, right? You go up top on, all right, you're on the attacking team. You go up top on factory. Yeah. You're sniping from up there. You throw the decoy down. They see you up there just firing away, and you're dropped down and you move into a position to where when they poke out to shoot it, snipe them in the face.
Yep.
That's pretty.
You go down to that window or something.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of cool, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't hate it at all. I think it's pretty interesting.
But you could even have it like crouched by a door or something. When they come through, they start to shoot you.
Yeah, right.
You're on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see getting mad, but
Oh yeah,
I could see it being a fun thing to play around though. Like I wouldn't be upset about it at all. See, like whenever they were talking about Juke, we were like, oh, maybe it's a character that like is kind of like Mirage. That's that dude's name from Apex, right?
Correct.
Like, you know, you send out a hologram and it just runs straight and they think that it's you and they shoot at you and it reveals their position because they're firing. Or what if it's like they, you know, she can throw something down and she can run into battle and she can start shooting people. And then when her HP gets to 0, it teleports her back to where she was before. Like there was a lot of cool things that we were speculating on. And then when we got her, maybe that's why I have this like weird love-hate relationship thing with Juke, where it's like what could have been versus what we actually got.
yeah.
Like, was this the last character that Pretty Hair developed? You know what I'm saying? Like they could have done a lot of really cool stuff with Juke and like made it really cool, but like it just didn't happen. And of course, those characters could come up later as like deceiver type characters. If we're going to start adding in different classes, let's add a class of like deception characters where it's like, yeah, you know, they can go in there and fire away and then teleport back to this location, or they can send a decoy out, or they can send a hologram out, or, you know,
Yeah.
I'm not mad at it. Not mad at it at all.
I would definitely like a hologram one.
Yeah.
I think Rogue Company would be cool for like at least one. You couldn't do like a whole Mirage, like a bundle of them.
Yeah.
But like do definitely one.
Yeah.
And I don't know if like you can get a direction or something, but you can have it like maybe appear next to you or something. So it gives you like a 50-50 chance.
Yeah. Well, I think it would be cool. Like as soon as you trigger it, it's just right beside you and it just starts running straight. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
That way you could peek out somewhere and they may not be able to see you, but whenever you trigger it, they'll see the dummy right there on the side and just see it start running. And they're like, oh, this dude's clueless. And it's like,
Yeah. It's a bot.
Yeah.
Oh, you're the bot.
Yeah.
You're the bot.
Yeah. So not mad at it. I would love something like that. I think it would break the monotony up a little bit. So last up here is a broadcast contribution from me.
Whoa.
I'm contributing something to the broadcast because I need everybody's feedback on this, because this is something that I want to submit to the developers after I refine it. I want to refine it like a fine wine or whatever, like oil. You refine the oil. I don't know. I'm trying to think of stuff.
I'll go with that one.
Yeah. I don't know. Refine it. Oh, I'm going to take a vape real quick before we get into this.
Where the bird real quick.
Refine it, baby. All right, so this is a game mode that I'm working on. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here so everybody can see it. This is a game mode that I'm working on here that I want to submit to the developers because I hate Strikeout and I think that it could be better. And this is my attempt to try to make a better Strikeout. The name of the game mode is called Tug of War. It's going to be a 4v4 respawn game mode. The objective is to hold the zone in order to fill progress bar for your team. The counterplay, enemy team tries to gain control of the zone to swing the progress bar back into their favor. How to win in the round with progress on your team's bar. Overtime. Bar progress is doubled and the zone shrinks over time. The hook. It will bring you back. You know, the progress bar is split in half. Each team starts with no progress. There's a dead zone in the center of the progress bar that each team has to work up to before they start gaining progress towards their side of the bar. When Team A gains progress on the bar, Team B must deplete the progress Team A has made on their side of the progress bar to start gaining progress on Team B's side of the bar by taking control of the zone. So there's one zone on the map that the team fights over. When one person is standing on the point, it's supposed to be gains. Hold on, let me fix that. It gains progress on that team's bar. As more friendly players stand in the zone, the progress gained on the bar is increased. As the enemy team starts to occupy the same zone, the progress is negated depending on how many active players from each team occupy the zone. For example, if Team A has 4 people in the zone and Team B has 3 people in the zone, Team A only gains the progress benefits for having only one person in the zone. So the zone would be a much larger area, possibly taking up complete lanes on the map, to force engagements without it feeling overly claustrophobic. This could allow zones to be placed in unusual areas of the map to promote counterplay by flanking behind the enemy while possibly still maintaining zone presence or defending against a flank while occupying the same zone. So I'll give a little bit more of an in-depth, like, conversational breakdown of it here. So you have the progress bar, and if we look at like a traditional rogue company like HUD, you have the diamond in the center, right? And then you, like for team deathmatch, you have the things underneath, like the progress bar. Well, I guess it would be King of the Hill. You have the progress bars under each side's characters. So the way that it would work would be like the diamond in the center between the two teams would be the dead zone. Whenever you go and stand in the zone, it starts filling in the dead zone. And then once you get to a certain point, it starts applying progress towards your side of the bar. Whenever the round ends, if the line that's going to be moving back and forth, swinging back and forth, is in that dead zone, then it causes the zone to start shrinking in, and then the values and the points gained to be able to add progress to the bar would actually double. So what I'm thinking is, like, you play on the zone, you fight on the zone itself. And the hook is like, you have a team that works up to 75% of their bar field, and you wipe that team out. You have to take their 75% of the progress down, get through the dead zone, and start adding progress to your bar. Then your team gets wiped out. They have to deplete your side of it, get back to the dead zone. And then it's a constant tug of war. If you see where I'm coming from here. I think that would be a really cool, really fun mechanic, and I've never seen or played a game mode like that before. And this is something that I was working the other day, and it just kind of came to me out of nowhere. And like, what I'm looking for is like, is it a good idea? Is it a bad idea? Does it need to be simplified? Is it too complicated? Does anybody see any negatives with doing something like this? Like, I want to refine it down so that I can approach the developers and be like, hey, I've got this game mode idea for a respawn game mode that could be super fun and possibly competitive. Here's my write-up. Here's my summary of it. What do you guys think about it? So based off of this and what we've, like, if you guys want to ask questions about it right now or whatever, that's fine. But what do you guys think about it? Like, and anybody that's listening to this, let me know in the comments. Do you think it's a good game mode? Do you think it's a bad game mode? Is there anything that you would change about it? Like the whole 9 yards. If it's bad, just tell me it's bad. It's fine. I don't really care that much. Like, I want to refine it, but if people aren't interested in playing it, then there's no reason to like move forward with this idea. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because like, I may reach out to Gecko and see if he can mock up what this bar would look like so that I have some visual representation before I send it off. You know what I mean? Just to kind of add a little extra flair to it, you know, and like take some top down views of the maps and show like, okay, the zone for Breach would be like the zone for Breach. Like, whenever you're looking at Breach, the side that most people snipe on, not the side inside the warehouse, but the other side, the zone be the entire length of that lane.
Yeah.
And the entire width of that lane, minus that vault wall to get into that area of the map. And of course, the middle area that you can cross over, like, it would just be a gigantic square. And that way, people that are on the wall, on the defender side, they're in the zone. People that are on the attacking side where the snipers are, they're in the zone. And like, you can flank, but you being off of the point is going to cause the enemy team to be able to start accumulating points. So you better make sure your flank matters. you know, so, and things
Yeah.
like that. So that's where I'm at
I
with it.
like it. You said something too. It's like if all 4 people are there, it's going to move a little faster
Yeah. Yeah.
because the whole team's on it.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'll give you a reason to play the point.
Well, and I'm thinking at it from this point of view too. It's like, what is the biggest problem with respawn game modes? At least, in my opinion, the biggest problem with respawn game modes are the spawn locations in Rogue Company. They're so bad. This
Registering or like where the registering where the spawns to go. Yeah, like that's makes no sense. When it's spawning the enemy right dead behind you, or the whole team behind you, like what is going on? Or like 1 minute you're taking the point and then they're spawning right next to the point. But then it spawns you a mile away when they take the point. And you're like, so where's the making sense here?
Yeah. And like the thing that throws the monkey wrench into the respawns is like the game logic is trying to respawn you where they're like, it's trying to pick a respawn location that's predetermined on all the maps to put you. But whenever you have like people that are on the point, like in Strikeout, once the point is occupied, the team that occupies the point spreads out to such an extent that like either you're respawning next to an enemy and you're immediately in a gunfight you're not expecting to be in. Either one of you. One person has spawn protection and one person doesn't. Like, and it spreads it out in such a way. And even if you have people flanking that have control of the point, it throws a gigantic wrench in the respawn logic for the respawn game modes. So it doesn't know what to do. It just picks a random location and drops you in there. And it just doesn't feel good. So if you have like a point that people are kind of fighting over, and the more bodies that are on that point accumulates points faster, then it's going to force people to play that point, and it's going to free up some of those predetermined spawn locations. And it's also going to allow you, because this is another thing that is kind of like a frustrating point in Strikeout, is like, you may spawn here, your teammate may spawn over here. You may spawn in all 4 different locations on the map. Good luck grouping back up and making a coordinated push.
Yeah.
And that, like,
Staggered out.
Yeah. And that's a feels bad in that situation too. And there is some success with that, but more times than not, the team that's defending the push onto that point is going to be at a major advantage because they've had time to set up. They've got trip mines and trophy systems and sticky sensors. Exactly. So it's going to be even harder breaching into that area. And it's just going to be a feels bad like a lot of the times. But like if you had something to where it maintained focus on a specific area, kind of like how King of the Hill does to an extent, but King of the Hill, you only gain benefits of one person on that point. So it's still kind of the same idea, but since it moves around, it keeps things a little bit more unified, I guess you would say. But yeah, that's just kind of where I'm at with it. Like I said, I'm just looking for feedback and stuff on it because it is something that if people like it, if people would be interested in playing a game mode like this, I do want to take it to the developers. And like the idea that I have for it is like, if it swings back and forth, it could be a very long game mode and you could have it just one round play out. And it could also be something that moves around, or it could be round based like Strikeout is, to where you have the location on one side of the map on one round, and then it's in the mid, and then it's on the other side, and then it just kind of alternates back and forth, and it's round based. Like there's a couple of different directions, and I haven't really sat down and thought like, what would be the best way to do this? Would it make more sense if the zone moved? What if the zone moved while you're trying to occupy it? You know, like these are a couple of questions. Like imagine breach is a circle, and what if it starts in one location and it just circles the entire map while you're trying to fight on the point? You know what I mean? Like there's little things that you could look at, little nuanced things that you could look at from that perspective. But that's kind of where I am with it. So if there's any feedback, if anybody has any ideas or things that they would like to contribute, please feel free to. But yeah, guys, this has been episode number 48 of the unofficial Rogue Company podcast. If you want to contribute in any way, you can hit us up on Twitter at BROGUECAST. You can shoot us an email, broguecast@gmail.com, or you can hit us up on Discord. The link will be in the description down below. There is a BROGUECAST contribution section in the Discord, so please feel free to share any information there. But for this episode, I'm here with Dirt Lord.
I'm here with Garbo.
And I'm here with Griffin.
And thank you guys so much for listening. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you guys on the next episode. Have a good one, guys.